Well, good morning.
Um, it's sun's shining out somewhat. It's 24 degrees. There's still snow on the ground, so we're going to be still sitting on our thumbs, basically waiting for this weather to warm up so we can go outside and start having fun.
I think our lawnmowers miss us already.
Yep. And
We might have to take them out on the street and just kind of run 'em around like little mini go-karts or something.
yeah, because we're at least 3-4 weeks away yet before I can even think about doing any kind of lawn care stuff. Mowers are all pretty much ready to go. The oldest one with the Thatcher on it, I have to replace the battery in it because that battery was getting really weak last year, and this just will not hold a charge for longer than 2 days. So it's done. You know, the battery's probably about 3 years old, so I did a pretty good job. So anyhow, Vicki wanted to talk about, what did you want to talk about today?
I wanted to talk a little bit about when I started helping Mark do lawn care. What kind of things I went through to try to understand about lawn care. When I actually, the only kind of lawnmower that I ever attempted to use when I used to mow lawns years back was a push mower. I never run a trimmer, never run a leaf blower, and so I just mowed grass. I mowed my yard and that was about it, and I worked in the flower beds. That's all I did for lawn care. And then if Mark would trim some trees back in the yard or whatever, we'd have a big, huge bonfire. So that was the extent of our lawn care. But anyway, so when he started doing lawn care, it was a long time before I started helping him. It was at least, 2 years?
Or, yeah, 2 or 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, he started like in, 2011, I think was his first season. And then I kicked in about 2014 is when I actually started going with him on the weekends. And it wasn't very easy for me because I never actually run equipment. So when we started, he had me using the blower, the leaf blower, and my hands were sore a lot.
Handheld leaf blower.
Yeah, the handheld one. And my hands were sore. And then he got brave and he put me on the mower. Well, because I was so scared to run the mower, my hands would like tighten up because I was on the handlebars, and I would just like grip it so hard because I was so afraid that something bad was going to happen. So I had to deal with my hands being sore, but after like the first year, it wasn't bad after that. I got more relaxed running the mower. And the other thing that I had a problem with is Mark would always show me what to do or tell me what I had to do, and I didn't understand why I had to do what he told me. And so we would argue a lot because I thought I had to do it my way and he was trying to help me, and so that took a long time. And then once I understood why I had to do the things that he told me, then things were a lot easier.
And to add to that, I was always used to being in charge because I had been in charge of, I don't know, I was seemed to be put in charge a lot. But when I worked construction, I was in charge of 10 gravel trains, including drivers. We're talking all of men. So in the construction business or industry, I guess, is when I was in, when you tell somebody what to do, they already knew why you were doing it. So I didn't understand where I needed to explain why we had to do it. I presumed that she would just follow what I told because I was so used to that. And being in charge for so long and then trying to, I guess there's no other way to put it, speak at a level of what the woman needs to understand, or no, that's not right either. No,
women and men think differently.
That's it.
They have their thoughts are completely different. And he didn't understand that. My thinking was different than his. But he didn't understand that.
Yeah. So, and then again, she could explain that. I couldn't put that into words, right? But yeah, so you pretty much understand what we were both going through, because it was it was like a struggle to understand each other, to um, get to, I guess, explain it in a direct or a way that we could both understand. So it was a big learning curve on our part. And because of that learning curve and that first year of, oh boy, the arguments that we got into was just atrocious. We'd be mad for days, just arguing for days.
I don't know how many times that trimmer ended up flying across the yard. I mean, it wasn't really funny at the time because I was ticked.
Yeah.
But yeah, the trimmer actually went across the lawn. It's like I had enough. It's like there was many times I'd sit in the truck and cry. It's like, why am I doing this? And then I kept thinking, well, what else am I going to do? I might as well be out mowing grass and trimming and whatever, because I'd be just sitting at home doing nothing. And it helped Mark get the lawns done quicker. So anyways, the other obstacle I had was I was constantly being told that I needed to make my line straight. Well, here's the problem. We were out in the farmland, and all the lawns were bumpity.
Yes,
So
they were.
every time you hit a bump, your wheels went like this. He says, quit making those lines look like a snake.
No, I said, quit chasing that snake around the yard.
That's what he kept saying, and I said, look, this is how this line is. Well, then you need to go in a different direction. So I went in a different direction. Well, then I got so comfortable with the lawnmower, I just started mowing and I went as fast as I could. And then here I heard it again. You're going too fast.
She was going so fast that the mower was almost stalling because it could not get rid of the clippings fast enough.
And my lines were all over everywhere.
But it's like everything else. It takes practice. I don't care what industry you're in. You're never perfect at the start, and it's a learning curve on everything. And it took a while, but she got to where she straightened it out, and she also I got her to stop holding like this and more of just a relaxed. And as soon as she started relaxing a lot more, the line straightened out. And it's just because she became comfortable. It had nothing to do with that she couldn't keep it straight. It's just that she wasn't comfortable and had a death grip on everything. So every time she was doing something, it was magnifying it. So once she started relaxing out there, everything got easier for her.
And then he always told me, he says, don't look down. And that's what I was doing. He says, have a focus point. If you have a tree in front of you, you head that mower right to that tree. And that helped me straighten my lines.
Yeah, because she was also following the wheels, which the wheels are doing this. So if you're following the wheels and trying to follow that same exact line that you just left, you can't quite do that. But if you look farther out ahead, like she says there, it worked out really well for her. So it was, I'm surprised we're still married. How's that? Because it was pretty bad there for a while.
Yeah,
but,
we had the Skag, what was that?
Freedom Z.
Freedom Z, and we run that, and
then we had the X-Mark Metro walk behind 40 inch.
and then we had the Husqvarna, and I got real comfortable with each of those mowers, and then after a while running them, oh, we need to get a new mower because this one's not doing what I want it to do. So every time we got a new mower, I had to learn all over again, and I was so frustrated. And actually, to this day, since we got that Gravely, I am terrified of that thing because of the bagger on it. I can't get close to the trees like I like to.
Yeah.
But my Skag Cat, I got that in the Tiger Cub. I can get around those trees like really easy.
Well, see, and then also the Gravely is faster in the long straightaways, but slower in the tighter turns because it takes a little bit longer on the levers because it's got a different pump style. So it's a little bit slower, but it's faster in the long run. So she hasn't run it enough. I'm pretty much on that mower every single day because there's bagging going on, and I'm doing extra stuff, I guess, with it. And she's doing a lot of blowing and trimming, just trying to make things get a little bit quicker. This year she's going to be starting off in the spring she's going to be on the mower more than I will because we're going to be picking up leaves, and she will be running that Gravely. So by the end of spring, she'll be comfortable with that Gravely, I'm thinking.
Yeah, because this will be my 6th season for me.
Right.
So it took me a good at least 3 seasons to get comfortable doing what I was doing. And then everybody kept telling me, you need to get a backpack blower. So I said, okay. So we finally got me the 200 steel 200 backpack blower. I'm not real sure yet. I only used it for a few weeks last fall.
And then it snowed.
Yeah, and then it snowed. So this year I'll be learning that all over again. It's going to take me a while to get used to it, but I'm sure I'm going to like it.
And I gotta believe by the end of the season, she'll be in a bigger backpack blower. Actually, we're not gonna buy another backpack blower. She'll just be running at 800.
Yeah, because I should be able to handle that.
Yeah, and with our season, the way it ended up last year at last year's cleanups were just so much easier with that Gravely and the DR Leaf vac will not be coming out anymore. That's going to be a backup. I'm going to disassemble that and put it off in a corner because I'm just not going to use it because I don't need to use it because that Gravely has done so much better of a cleanup and so much faster and a smaller footprint on my trailer. That's the whole thing, is the footprint. Even if it takes a little bit longer with the Gravely, it's still a smaller footprint and we could get more work done before we have to empty out the trailer. And that's the whole thing, is to go longer and be able to do things faster. So.
Yeah, because that DR, once that bagger gets full of wet leaves,
boy, yeah.
It's a struggle for Mark to get
Yeah.
that bucket. I mean, and here's the other thing I was going to mention. Being who I am, I can't do a lot of things that he can do, like heavy lifting or different things. And there was a lot of times he'd get mad at me because he'd get the mower stuck, and sometimes it wasn't easy for us to use another mower to pull him out. It was a lot of, actually he had to get himself a jack one time because he was so far stuck in the mud. He had to use a jack to get that mower out of the mud. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I can't do to help him, and which would be good for a man to be with him to help, but we want to keep the money to ourselves, so that's what we deal. We work it out.
And every time we get stuck, or I get stuck, or she gets stuck, or every time we get stuck, it's always in the early spring or late fall whenever the ground is completely saturated. This year, the ground's not going to be too bad unless we start getting a lot of heavy rain, which since we haven't got much snow this year, that could very well happen for the whole season. We could be getting a pile of rain.
Yeah, the way the snow is melting right now, the water is actually seeping into the ground, which I'm surprised.
Yeah.
We don't have too much flooding in our backyard, at least this year.
We're not going to have hardly any flooding at all, so hopefully we don't get a lot of rain in the spring and we can get out and start working here. Hopefully, I'm hoping in about 3 weeks we'd be out. But.
So if there's anybody that has, any ladies out there that have any questions for me, please ask. I'll try to answer them as best as I can.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be out there doing lawn care, go for it. You'll learn just like I did. Yeah,
and we all have a tendency of learning the hard way, but the best thing that ever happened is when we started working together, because when we retire, which I don't know if we're ever going to retire, we're just not going to do as much as we were, but we spend every time or all day together now and don't have any problems. We don't really argue about anything anymore. And if we do argue about something, we move on. We're past the argument. Once the argument's over with, which only lasts about a short time, we don't even bring anything back up again because it's done, it's solved, and we moved on.
Our customers have mentioned to us, boy, you guys got this routine under, because once we get to our yard, we do our thing. And they're like totally impressed with that.
A lot of
because we don't have to, he doesn't have to tell me what to do, and I just go do it.
And then
we watch out for each other. If we find something that got missed, we go back and we get it.
And the whole time we're out there, it took her a while to learn about the noise and talking to each other. we use hand signals with everything, pointing things out. If I miss something, she points over, and I look over and see I miss something, which happens all the time because you're always missing something. Because you get focused on what you're doing, and you change something, or somebody stops to talk to you, and you forgot one spot. So the whole object of us working together, or it doesn't matter if whoever's working together. Words are stumbling out again. Clock went off, messed me up. But the whole best thing about two people working together really well is if one misses it, the other one spots it, and we got to take care of it. And we don't have to go back for anything. We don't want to miss nothing.
And also, if something happens to one of the pieces of equipment while he's out on the mower, this happened last fall. His bagger came unhooked, and he was picking up, and he didn't realize what was going on, but I seen that all the stuff was flying.
Yeah.
So I had to flag him down to have him stop. And I didn't realize what happened. I should have been more cautious, but I got too close and a rock hit me in the face. Now I know that I don't need to get that close to that mower.
Yeah.
I mean, he stopped, but like I said, I got too close when I was flagging him down, and
I don't think it was a rock. I think it was more like a stick or a
I don't know, but it
acorn or
hurt. It hurt when it hit me.
Yeah, so she came up on the right side of me versus on the left side, because the right side was everything, all the debris was flying out of the discharge there, and it was one of the things. I was focused, looking down to where I was going, and trying to pick up all the leaves, but.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that happen that you don't see. You have to be really careful out there, because you never know what can happen.
And then this year, the videos this year, we're probably going to have a lot of different angles, and we're going to try and include, trying to get more recording of what goes on out there, because we're going to try and record on every single yard, and just take more pieces, I guess, or bits of it, because we're loading everything up with GoPros this year. GoPro on pretty much everything. So I started using that one GoPro that I bought here about a month ago, and yeah, I really like how that's going to work out. So there's going to be a lot of different stuff coming up this year, hopefully. So I pretty much got everything covered that you wanted to cover.
I think so. I'm sure I'll think of something else after, but for the most part, I think we got it out there.
Yeah, and we're gonna continue on at least one video a week like this. We're gonna more of our story and more of things that we think that would help others out there improve everything. Because I know there's several people that are gonna want to meet up with us this summer sometime, and because they're near us, but. It's not we like to meet up with people, and since we're going to be taking more and more time off, we're going to be able to meet up with more people more and more, I guess. So we're going to see how all that works out, and we're still unsure about the GIE for this year. We want to make it happen, but I don't know if we can make it happen. So we're going to try. We're going to try really hard, but the only thing is you got to remember is when the GIE starts, that's also the start of our leaf cleanup, and we are running against snow every single year. So we always get cut short, and then last year, if we would have gone to the GIE, we would have lost out on half of our cleanups because our season was short again. So
because that was our biggest week of cleanups.
Yes,
then.
it was. So we're going to be, I don't know, we're going to see how it works. It's going to be one of them last minute things again, because that's all we could ever do is everything last minute. So I think by the end of this year, though, we're going to have our lawn care down quite a bit more, because we have 82 yards that we have to maintain this year, provided we get to one contract. It's got 16 yards. So we won't know till next month whether we got that contract or not, and hopefully we do have that contract, because it's a nice contract.
Most of our customers, pretty much over probably 60-75% of our customers are all senior citizens. So once those customers pass on, we're not replacing any of those.
Right. So, and we still will be picking up a yard here or there. Just a friend of one of our friends need their parents taken care of. We will always be doing that until we'll always be doing that until we quit lawn care, which I don't see us ever quitting lawn care. Snow removal, we pretty much decided in when the lease is up on our truck, I'm done plowing snow because the stress level is just way too high. And I don't want to be going through the whole winter of being sleep deprived like I have been for the past 35 years. I just don't want to do it no more. So we pretty much covered everything. Like I said, there's going to be more coming out. We're going to do our best to cover everything, and we're going to be answering questions as we're going and trying to cover topics as people suggest them, because people want to know, and we just need to help them out, or help everyone out, I guess. So that's going to be pretty much it for us for today. Please comment, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified when the next video is released.
Hope you watch Vicky's Outdoors. Thanks for watching us. Have a good day. Peace. Goodbye.